שיר מזמור לאסף. אלוהים, אל דומי לך, אל תחרש, ואל תשקוט אל. These verses of Tehillim, written thousands of years ago by King David, demand that God not be silent in the face of those trying to kill his people. And standing here on the blood-soaked ground of Auschwitz, the silence is deafening. If this place could talk, it would tell the greatest tragedy, and it would tell of the worst crimes in human history. The train tracks that we walked on would share the prayers of Hungarian, Polish, Italian, and Greek Jews transported like cattle to their deaths. The barracks would recall the last words and tears of Sarale, Dov Be'er, Esther, and 1.5 million other children. These fences would remind us of those who tried to escape and failed. The watchtowers would testify that soldiers with names and faces watched the misery of millions and made it possible. And the crematorium. I see here about 5,000 people today. That's half a day of work of Auschwitz. In half a day, the Nazis wiped out 5,000 Jews. And walking here, I couldn't avoid thinking, there's only 4 gas chambers. 4. The Allies, they knew exactly where they are. They had hundreds of thousands of bombs. One bombing attack could have stopped the killing in 1943, in 1944, and they didn't. These chimneys are silent because no words can describe the burning of innocent people in an attempt to erase the very existence from our collective memory. Homes filled with music, silenced. Communities that once flourished, destroyed. But the remains of Auschwitz are scarce and silent. Little remains are scarce and silent. Little remains from the ghettos of Lodz, Vienna, Slonim, Minsk, Prague, or Paris. So we gather information from the diaries of the deceased, from books of historians, and from the testimonies of those who survived, like Rabbi Lau. However, those survivors are slowly passing away, taking their personal stories and testimonies with them. It's only a matter of time before the last survivor, the last witness, passes away. I want to urge you, participants from all around the world, talk to the survivors here today. Listen to them. Remember their names, their stories, and their faces. Sadly, there are people who are trying to rewrite history and alter the facts. Some deny the Holocaust even happened. Others try to scale it down. They continue where the Nazis failed. They make it as though millions of Jews with parents, friends, wishes, and fears never existed. But they're wrong, they're evil, and they will fail. So talk to the survivors so one day you can tell your grandchildren, I was at Auschwitz with a survivor of the Holocaust, of the Shoah. That's our responsibility, that's our mission. I'm here as a representative of my family, my grandmother Michela and my grandfather Israel Irvin Lefko, who lost their entire families at the Shoah. My wife Gilat's grandfather Eli, who as a teenager, he had a non-Jewish appearance, so he protected and fed his mother and two brothers in the forest for years. He moved them every 2 weeks from one hiding place to another. And only weeks before the liberation, one day he was coming home and he saw two local teenagers laughing and saying to him, "We just murdered your family." He ran to the hiding place and he found his mother and two brothers murdered. He never forgave himself. He felt that he left them 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks in one place. I remember, he never forgave himself. And Gilat's grandmother, Clara, who as a child hid as a Christian girl and was the sole survivor of their family. I named my two daughters, Michal Clara, Avigail Elia, on their names after them. I have here a piece of embroidered fabric that was made by my mom's cousin Tzila, who was murdered. This is an original embroider of Tzila, my mother's cousin. She sent it out of Poland, and the last letter, it's hanged next to me in my office. So every morning when I come, I remember to be a proud Israeli, a proud Jew. I'm here also as a representative of the Israeli government. Today, the Jewish state is an iron dome that will always defend Jews. I'm also here as Minister of Education of Israel, joined by ministers from across Europe. Together, we will ensure that the stories of the murdered and the miracles of the survivors live on, so thousands of years from now, we will not forget. You can see I'm not shaven because it's an act of mourning to remember the destruction of our second state. We had a state 2,000 years ago. We lost it. So we still remember. And we will remember. This is not only a Jewish mission. It's not only an Israeli mission. This is a universal mission. In the words of Elie Wiesel, who made himself a voice for those who could not speak, he said, "To forget is to kill twice. We will not forget. Netzach Yisrael lo yeshaker velo yinachem. Le'olam lo nishkach. Am Yisrael chai."